India Today has been able to access, let me show you, the full report of the Modi government. This is the full report which compiles all the information available with all our investigative agencies on Zakir Naik. This report talks about and nails Zakir Naik's links with the ISIS. 24 of the converts, 24 of those who came to Zakir Naik's factories went on to join the ISIS in Afghanistan. India Today exclusive is our top focus on the newsroom tonight.
He is infamous as an Islamic televangelist, hate preacher and a fugitive in hiding. Tonight, India Today nails Zakir Naik's link to the world's most feared terror organization, the ISIS. Exclusive documents on India Today reveal how Zakir and his henchmen converted gullible youth and set them on the path to jihad in Kabul.
You know, we spent the whole day going through the Zakir Naik investigation report. Remember, this is the combined effort of the NIA, all the various police stations and the various state police forces that have been looking at the Zakir Naik case files. And what is emerging is disturbing. The Ministry of Home Affairs now has reason to believe that Zakir Naik and his closest associates deliberately and consciously brought youngsters to their conversion factories where people were indoctrinated. 24 of the people who came to the IRF office in Dongri in Mumbai went on to join the ISIS in Afghanistan. Sit back and watch as Kamaljeet Sandhu, who tracks internal security for us, brings you this India Today exclusive on the Zakir Naik ISIS link. Here it is.
If he's terrorizing the terrorist, if he's terrorizing America, the terrorist, biggest terrorist, I'm with him. Every Muslim should be a terrorist. The thing is that if he's terrorizing a terrorist, he's following Islam.
An insidious terror evangelist who exploded into India's conscience last. A man now infamous for sowing the seeds of violent fundamentalism in the minds of millions across the subcontinent. A man so terrified of the backlash that he hasn't returned to India in months, sitting in a safe haven abroad, continuing his work. But while investigative agencies search for Zakir Naik, India Today brings you the deadliest, most shattering proof of this man's real work. No hearsay, no rumors. What you've heard is nothing compared to this. The cold hard truth of a truly dangerous brainwasher. Documents accessed prove that Zakir Naik hasn't just dominated the airwaves to spread hate, but in fact has actively been converting impressionable youth to Islam and sending them straight into the world's most dreaded terror organization, the ISIS. This 100-page dossier from the Unlawful Activities Prevention Tribunal, revealed for the first time on national television before you, exposes two of Zakir Naik's trusted lieutenants from the Islamic Research Foundation. Rizwan Khan and Arshi Qureshi converted 4 Kerala youth to Islam. The youth, Bestin Vincent alias Yahya, Merin Jacob alias Mariam, Bexon Vincent alias Isa, and Nimisha alias Fatima were radicalized at the IRF office in Dongri in Mumbai. The National Investigation Agency states that 24 youth migrated from Kerala to Kabul to join the ISIS. Zakir Naik and his cronies steered them towards fundamentalism, catching them young, stripping their identities, molding them into jihadis, and steering their journey to Afghanistan. For his brainwashing of 19 youth from Kerala, Zakir Naik's aide Arshi Qureshi was paid handsomely, about 43.75 lakh in 4 years, the price for peddling radicalism.
Exclusive documents accessed by India Today clearly show that conversion is only a camouflage for Zakir Naik, that money by FCRA was pumped into Arshi Qureshi ki Zakirnaik aid for conversion of North Muslims to Islam and then pushing the youth to ISIS. That cover has now been blown off.
I challenge anyone to point out any statement.
Zakir Naik pulled out the victim card last year when the investigative agencies were on his trail. While he denounced the ISIS in public, behind the scenes, he was converting and radicalizing youth in his own foundation.
When an organization comes and says that we are an Islamic state and they're killing innocent people, this name Islamic State is given by the enemies of Islam. Don't report on your media that Islamic State has done that. Is totally wrong. I call them anti-Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
As India Today digs deeper, it is finally clear why Zakir Naik is sitting cowering abroad instead of returning to his country. His direct role in radicalizing youth for ISIS, his role in the larger infrastructure that ISIS employs, and his guilt writ large. A con man in the garb of a religious preacher, a fundamentalist posing as a pacifist, India Today's report blows the lid once and for all of Zakir Naik's facade of crying witch hunt. With Kamaljit Sandhu in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining us to talk about this big India Today exclusive, I've got Umar Sharif, President of the Discover Islam Educational Trust. Sambit Patra is the national spokesperson of the BJP. Kamaljit Sandhu is just joining us. She's the one who's been able to scoop this report of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Tribunal of the Government of India, which details the kind of investigation that's been done. And it's very interesting, Kamaljit, that this report says that there were 24 ISIS recruits who came frequently to the Dongri office of the IRF, interacted with Zakir Naik's closest associates, and are now with the ISIS in Afghanistan.
Well, absolutely. It's actually shocking. And the fact is, these are ISIS recruits. These are people from Kerala. They've been converted to Islam. That means if there was a certain camouflage which was done, that they're doing a job, they're converting people to Islam, but that's not it. They're converting these people to terror factories and they are pushing them to go to either ISIS or to Afghanistan, which is the case. In fact, one of them, Nimisha, who converted to being an Islamic Fatima, she was 4 months pregnant, Rahul. When she went to Afghanistan, she delivered a baby there. The fact is that this is the sense of radicalization that we get. That Qureshi is there, then there is Rizwan Khan, who are close aides of Zakir Naik. They're actively involved in conversion, and IRF hub in Dongri itself was used as a hub to convert people and then push them towards ISIS.
Okay, I want to understand what Umar Sharif, President of the Discover Islam Educational Trust, has to say. Here, this report by the Government of India, which really looks at the investigation, and a very comprehensive investigation done by all investigative agencies, suggests that Zakir Naik and the youngsters who came there were indoctrinated, and 24 of them at least, there are 24 names, addresses that have been cited, 24 of these youngsters went on to join the ISIS in Afghanistan.
Okay, that's an allegation that you have made at the moment. There is a court of law which has to go through the process of law, and only then we can come to know what the reality of what the research is. First and foremost, I would like to ask this question. Why is that these 24 members had to go all the way to Syria or to Afghanistan if they want to do something in the cause of Islam? I mean to say, it is totally uncanny for anybody who is embracing Islam and to get indoctrinated to the extent that he has to fly all the way to Syria or all the way to Afghanistan. I don't see that happening according to the human mind that you can think of. Nobody would just think of just becoming a Muslim and going and dying somewhere in the foreign state. That is totally uncanny.
Okay, one second. RSN Singh is a very well-known counter-terror expert. He's listening to what you're saying. Umar Sharif, one moment. RSN Singh, Umar Sharif says, why would somebody make the effort of going to Syria and Afghanistan? If he has to spread terror, he'd do it here. He says it's tough to believe that somebody would first get converted to Islam, then go to Syria, Afghanistan. He makes it seem as if the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Modi government is just cooking up these investigation reports.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, one second. I've heard you. Let's hear from RSN.
One minute.
No. This gentleman then is, deliberately ignoring, or he doesn't have any idea of the Islamic State. But I think the former is true. He is deliberately ignoring. If people are going from all over Europe, if people are going, 200 Maldivians, it's an island country. I mean, making their way to Islamic State in Syria. I mean, people going from Kashmir, from Kashmir to Australia, student I'm talking about, and then also from Australia to Syria. And there is a, kindly do read the interview of Abdul Rashid Abdullah. He's there, he is their handler.
Oh, absolutely, and we ran the tapes here on India Today. Sambit Patra, how do you respond to Umar Sharif? He makes it seem as if this is somehow a Modi government witch hunt against Zakir Naik, against whom nothing has been proven.
Absolutely.
He's not adding and he's not believing in the credibility of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Tribunal report that Kamaljeet has scooped. Dr. Patra.
No, first and foremost, he does not even need an answer because everyone knows what the truth is, and Mr. Arasan Singh rightly pointed out that it would be quite naive to say that he does not know of ISIS. The biggest issue over here is I have the newspaper report of one Ibn Jacob, who was 25-year-old man. He is a Christian of Kerala. He is the brother of Merin. You were right now pointing out Merin, alias Mariam, who was converted by this guy Zakir Naik, who is missing along with her husband Bastian Vincent, that is Yahya, from Kerala. And this guy, Ibn Jacob, who is a 24-year-old guy, in one of his interrogations to the Mumbai police had categorically stated that he, along with his brother's family, were being indoctrinated by Zakir Naik, and he did not fall in the trap, while the rest of the members of the family fell in the trap. And the person, the conduit, who was responsible for this kind of indoctrination was one Arshi Qureshi, who was member of IRF. And right now in your report also you have pointed out that this guy R.C. Qureshi received approximately 43 lakh rupees in a duration of time period. And you know that Mr. R.C. Qureshi is behind bars since 2016. Now it is not just India which has been saying this. Remember, after the Dhaka Cafe blast, Nabris Islam and Rohan Imtiaz, two of the 6 terrorists who were responsible for this blast, had agreed to the history was dug out, and it was found that they were indoctrinated by Zakir Naik's speeches. And then we have the 2006 Mumbai train blasts also. Rahil Sheikh, Firoz Ghasawala and Irfan Desmukh, all were the people who
seems as if Umar Sharif that you're living in denial. Take for example, absolutely, take for example the terrorists from Bangladesh. They claim that they were inspired by Zakir Naik. There is enough documentary evidence, including Kamaljeet, some testimonies here from the father of those who joined the ISIS, where they're talking about how Zakir Naik indoctrinated. Umar, listen to Kamaljeet. She's read this report before you respond. So you've got anguished parents speaking out.
Well, one of the facts is, Rahul, that each of the ISIS terror recruits, and there have been investigating agency which has panned out towards India, and they have dug out, and there are statements of ISIS recruits who have said, whether it is, we're talking about Arif Majid, one of the first ISIS recruits from Kalyan, then we're talking about Muhammad Ibrahim from the Hyderabad module, we're talking about Abu Anas from the Rajasthan module. All of them have said they've been deeply inspired by Zakir Naik. The other part is about the anguish of the parents. Now, many of the documents that we have access clearly say that they are converting to Islam, which is voluntary. But the parents are crying foul, saying that they were going to IRF very frequently. That's where the radicalization took place.
Radicalization happened, Umar Sharif. Now, this is being said by the parents. We've got the affidavits here. There's a sworn affidavits admissible as evidence in a court against Zakir Naik. They're saying on record that their children were radicalized by Zakir Naik and the kind of speeches he made.
See, you have mentioned the news that had come in the Bangladesh news media. You must also complete the news by saying that the Daystar retract their words by saying that they have no evidence to say that Dr. Zakir Naik influenced those terrorists. First and foremost, the immediate report that had come in the Daystar was a mistake, and they also acknowledged and they had apologized for what they had printed.
What do you have to say about the parents? About the parents of these children who are on a sworn affidavit talking about how their wards were influenced and radicalized because they continued to go to the Islamic Research Foundation run by Zakir Naik.
See, the person who was arrested earlier, Rizwan, the person who was arrested, he's come out now and he's going to be clean in some days. Look, the allegation is totally false because the person who has been giving talks for nearly 2.5 decades is well known to the people across India, and he has been often quoting the verse from chapter number 5, verse number 32, saying that whosoever kills one innocent, it is like killing the entire humanity. This was his regular verse that he was always quoting. And moreover, he has denounced ISIS even earlier many a time, saying that
Patra, respond to
it
this.
is non-Islamic state.
That in his speeches and in the interview he gave Javed Ansari, Zakir Naik says, I don't like the ISIS. The ISIS are the worst thing that have happened. He says that's what he's saying now. Do you think that's an afterthought? How do you respond to Umar?
He used to say even before the Dhaka incident, he said that
Dr. Patra.
As far as Zakir Naik is concerned, can the scholar be quiet for a
Dr.
while?
Patra.
Can he hear to me? Can he listen to me? Thank you. No, number one, as far as Zakir Naik is concerned, he was a very wise rat, I'll tell you. I mean, he knew how to play with words. But let me tell you, there are certain sections of what he spoke which have been in record. You played out a section of it. Let me read it out. Let the scholar present in this channel
if
defend
he's a
Mr.
white
Zakir
rat, then
Naik
you are a
after I
black
read out
rat,
what
sir.
he has said.
If he's a white
I
rat.
quote, Sir, don't. He's a terror sponsor, so please. Number one, if Bin Laden is fighting enemies of Islam, I am for him. If he is terrorizing America, the terrorist, biggest terrorist, I am with him. Categorically, clearly, and without mincing any words, he says that, well, yes, if someone is fighting America, by terror means he was with those people. So he has not minced any words. Second statement, every Muslim should be a terrorist. Third, February 2012, Naik implored the Muslims to fight for Islam and disobey the law of the land if it goes against the law of the Creator, that is Islam. Saying Vande Mataram is not desirable for Muslim. He stands for suicide bombing. Remember when he came out with his own defense from a foreign destination through a Skype or a camera chat? What did he say? He said that suicide should not
Umar
be done
Sharif
for
wants to
personal
butt in.
reasons. But as a strategy, there is no
Doctored
problem
videos.
with suicide bombing. As a strategy, there is no problem.
He's the aide who's handling.
No, you're calling
Look,
these
you're
doctored videos,
presenting
but
the
that's not
doctored
true
videos.
because this report says, the tribunal
we have
report
heard
says
the entire
that the
talk.
videos have not
We have
been
heard
found
the
to be
entire
doctored.
talk.
Kamalji, the report says the
Including the
videos are not
US
doctored.
consulate
Plus,
was
you're
presenting
making a
the
good
talk.
point about how money went into Arshi's account and Arshi is currently in jail. Why was
Absolutely, he was
FCI money
arrested by
sent
the
to him?
Kerala police. The money trail clearly says that IRF funded money. They put money to the tune of 43.75 lakh rupees into his account. This was basically to do conversion. Rizwan was made, who was also a close aide of Zakir Naik, had the same level of allegations made against him, and that is why he was arrested. He was not only doing conversion. Remember, those two couples who actually were Christians and then converted to Islam and went to Afghanistan, the Guardian who signed on court papers and documents there was himself Rizwan.
Umar
So he's
Sharif,
actively
respond.
involved.
See, thousands of people have embraced Islam after watching Dr. Zakir Naik's talk. And Dr. Zakir Naik is not a person who goes and talks to people in their homes or meets them in marketplaces. His talks are ready for anybody to go and hear to. And from past 2.5 decades, his talks were available for everybody. And one fine day you come and say like he is promoting terrorism. It's totally uncanny. Nobody can buy this. You see, the
RSN
people who
saying
had
if somebody
differences amongst the
watches a
Muslims,
Zakir Naik
who
tape
had
and then becomes a
differences with
radicalized ISIS
Dr.
terrorist,
Zakir Naik,
Umar
even they are
Sharif says don't blame Zakir Naik. Does that hold any merit at all? Does that argument hold any merit, RSN saying?
Can I ask a question to Umar Sharif?
No, the viewers, ask this man to keep quiet here.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that, his tapes are a matter of public domain. People have, heard it n number of times. There is absolutely no spiritual content. There is no message of inclusivity. It is only a message of hatred. You hear any of the tapes. There is no message about nation building. Does Omar, this fellow, does he not believe in caliphate? Does he not believe in Ummah? Does he not believe? Ask this gentleman. Does he not believe in Shariat? This is what he was preaching. The second thing, it was totally unabashed radicalization. And here was a man, who who purposely
IRF was used as a
exported
hub
a
of
hybrid, hybrid, hybrid dressing up, Western clothes, tie, and with that is Islamic cap, because he was catering to a particular, educated constituency.
Patra has a question for Umar Sharif. Sambit, go ahead.
Media savvy and social science.
Rahul,
So,
Rahul, to this person called as Umar Sheikh, Rahul, you must have forgotten something, you might have forgotten something, but I remember because I had made notes that day when India Today gave out an exclusive news break. And the exclusive news break is what is my question to Umar Sharif. The break was that the Jamatud Dawa site had a mention of Zakir Naik's IRF as a resource for religious learning. So Hafiz side was full of praise of Zakir Naik and his IRF, and India Today has shown the website of JUD as to how the JUD carried the IRF as one of the important sources of religious learning.
Sharif,
so
respond.
naturally, a terror body like JUD sponsoring
Respond, Umar Sharif.
supporting a person and his organization
let me
like
respond to
Zakir
this.
Naik. Now
Excuse
Mr.
me.
Umar Sharif should say,
Let me respond
what does
to
he
this.
feel about JUD?
Look. Dr. Zakir Naik is not appreciated by, not just by any one section of the community. The people watch Dr. Zakir Naik for a reason that
even
he is able
terrorists
to
also
quote
appreciate him.
verses verbatim. He is able to quote verses verbatim. That is the real reason why people want to watch Dr. Zakir Naik. That is the reason why Sri Ravi Shankar himself, he
that was the
staged with
reason as to
Dr.
why
Zakir
Hafiz
Naik in one
Saeed
of the
was
events.
eulogizing Zakir Naik. That was the reason as to why JUD site carried Zakir Naik's IRF.
Sri
verbatim
Ravi
thing.
Shankar was eulogizing Dr.
No,
Zakir
no,
Naik,
sir. You know very well.
Sri Ravi Shankar.
Terrorists
I
and
have
terror
organized the
sites
event
were
with
eulogizing
Ravi Shankar and
Zakir
Dr.
Naik
Zakir
for
Naik.
obvious reasons. For obvious
Sri
reasons.
Ravi Shankar was eulogizing. What do you
Very
want to
quickly,
say?
So what?
What do you want to say about Sri
So
Ravi
what?
Shankar?
So what? No,
So
he
what?
was not eulogizing.
Many of them,
no,
they
he was not
eulogized.
eulogizing
Not
Zakir Naik. That was an
See,
unfortunate debate, I
you
would
know,
say. That was an
Dr. Zakir
unfortunate
Naik
debate,
is
I
a
would say. He was
person-
not, he would never
See,
eulogize
if it is
Zakir Naik.
unfortunate-
But do you know Ayan?
He
Do you
said-
know
he
Ayaz
said if-
Sultan?
he
Do you
said
know
in the
Ayaz
talk, you are
Sultan?
telling a lie.
He is the IS
He said-
Okay, one second. I don't want this debate to be general. Let's stay focused on the facts. We've got this tribunal report out now. What happens next? Zakir Naik is in Malaysia at this time. Is he still in Malaysia? Is he
Sources
gone to
tell us that.
Saudi Arabia or Malaysia?
See, the last known location is supposed to be Malaysia,
Okay,
though he
so we're
has a
trying to
citizenship.
revoke his passport. Has that happened yet, or is in the works?
It's in the process. It's
By
work in
when does
progress.
that happen?
It's going to happen shortly, and we've been told once that is done, then they will move a process of extradition. But remember, it's going to be extremely difficult because where he's seeking asylum of sorts, where he's seeking citizenship, are all countries which seem to be backing him, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Malaysia. So this is going to be extremely tricky,
And the
even for
report
India is
that
concerned.
Kamaljeet has access tonight will be the basis for India's demand for extradition. Good work, Kamaljeet. Thank you so much for joining us on the news.